hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Oh, well, he gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. This is episode 114. I'm Matty, joined tonight by Colin and John. Colin, how you doing?
Good mate, aye, you?
Aye, good. Busy day today?
Aye, but work's busy. Booked my holiday just in the last hour.
Aye,
So,
going somewhere nice?
Belfast and Dublin. City break.
Aye, decent.
So I'll book July, end of July.
You,
So mate, I'll need back a couple of days on your leave.
oh, I put in the holidays now. John will cover it. We'll make sure everybody else is off. Or we'll pre-record. John, how about you? How you doing?
Aye, no bad. I've just noticed that I've got a wee bit of a stain carrying on my t-shirt, and I promise I've no jizzed on myself. It was the bairn slavering on me.
That's right. You can't see so much because my t-shirt's dark, but I was sitting in the back garden with the Doug earlier, and he was like doing laps, and then he would just come charging at me and just jump up on my lap. And I was sitting in one of these wee fold-out chairs, you know, but it's just covered in mud and Doug hair, so I should probably get changed, but what's the point? It was quite late in the evening. They're probably getting changed in the evening, It's going to be taken off and chucked it in the wash anyway, so.
I have the same t-shirt as I had on last night, actually.
Excellent.
Aye, but it's nice and clean. It was unclean last night, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that you taking account of the rising electricity prices? You're just keeping your clothes on for a few days longer?
Oh, my washing machine was fucked as well, did I tell you?
Aye, mine died. Like the glass broke.
The glass, the boys fixed it today though, so. I got the new door thing.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
did I tell you? All fucking glass fell on the machine at the weekend.
You did. You said you ruined some clothes in that as well.
Aye.
It's wasn't that great a story.
Nah. No, well, worth telling twice though.
Aye, definitely tell it twice. Say it 2 times.
Washing machine broke, aye. Aye, washing machine's broken.
Right, stick 25 minutes on the clock. First question of the night. It's from 150k on Hamlin Hill, right? It's a bit of an older question, and his quote tweeted one that said, "If Spider-Man shot web out of his bumhole instead of his wrists, and the diameter and length of his web was in the same proportions as a real spider's is, he'd probably look more like this," right? And there's, you can sort of see that. Look, see the size of Spider-Man's arse. So basically, Spider-Man with an arse like one of the Kardashians or something like that, right? 150k on Hamlin Hill says, "This is well within our parameters of discussion. Cyclops for X-Men would be another case study. If he farted involuntarily, he'd rip the arse out of his breeks. So if his superpower came out of his awesome." Do
you think?
I'm not sure what the question is.
I was just thinking, you asking me something.
Do you think if Cyclops was to shoot lasers at his arse, do you think he'd maybe be better off wearing like assless chaps or something?
You would have to have something that maybe like a heat sensor that was really, really sensitive, so it recognised, it's hot, a laser's about to shoot at the arse, and it just dropped to be flapped down.
Aye. Because I was going to say, Professor Xavier's not going to dish out a clothes budget if he's going to be blasting lasers through his arsehole every couple of days.
Are we basically exploring what would happen with superheroes if their superpower came out their arse?
It certainly seems that way. What other superheroes are there that have got some sort of power? Because they're two obvious ones, because it's something that's generated by the body, but Superman, well, he shoots lasers with his eyes, doesn't he? And he's got an icy breath. Could you imagine an icy breath coming out your Archie?
I tell you, that'd be quite soothing. Do you know, in some circumstances, after like a right hot curry, you could just
say a right hot shite.
An icy fart.
Icy. Oh, menthol.
I'm not sure how else it would work. Like the Hulk, maybe if only the Hulk's arse got angry and just went green and fucking solid.
Aye, would his sphincter get bigger? Because that's one of the characteristics of Hulk when he gets angry is he gets bigger. But if it was only his arsehole that got bigger, would it just be this like massive? I don't know how do you
It must do it already, though. Because it's all of them. Like, it must have an angry knob and everything.
Do you think it's a dark green? A darker green than the rest of them?
How come he's never wrapped his knob out when he's been raging to show everybody how massive it is? Like, you'd think that would be something he would at least be curious himself to have a look, but he doesn't ever appear to have gone, what's happening down there?
Do you think it would be bigger, but not necessarily like massive, so like proportionate? Like, I mean, so Hulk would still have a bigger body than the rest of us because he grows to like 8-9 foot tall or something. But what if Bruce Banner's actually got a baldy half incher?
Aye.
A wee chode.
Aye, like, does the Hulk have
Do you think it's green?
a baldy 2-footer? Like, I don't know.
Do you think that goes green or not? Aye.
Aye. Jakey's got radioactive spunk.
I think I was reading that there was a Spider-Man comic. It was like a sort of alternate reality one where Peter Parker's like human spider semen actually killed. Was it Emma? No, what was it? What was his girlfriend's name? Mary Jane. Was it Mary Jane?
Jane, yeah.
Aye, I'm sure I read that recently. Not the actual comic, just read it somewhere that said that he killed her.
Oh well.
So
Oh, bastard.
do you think it's got to be like a lesson for safe sex, isn't it? Like,
That's all I can read into that. To be fair, do you think if all the superpowers came out your arse, all the superheroes would be known as Arseman or Arsewoman then?
Arse blaster.
Arse Blaster Man.
Aye. Do you think what about bad guys? What about like say Riddler and Batman, or what was the character that Arnold Schwarzenegger played? Was that Mr. Freeze?
Aye, that's one of the films ever made that Batman.
Oh, it's terrible. But I'm trying to think of like bad guys that have appeared in superhero movies, like what they are. Would you still call them powers? You would call them powers, wouldn't you?
So,
like Thanos, like if he rather than click his finger with the gauntlet that removed like half the people or half the beings in the universe, like does he like have a wee clenchy sphincter?
aye. Let's say one of the wee clicky farts that sometimes happen. Just a wee like that. That's about, and with that, half the population of the galaxy is gone.
You'd never know either, because it would be like a wee silent but violent one.
Yeah.
Just like, oh fuck, what happened there? Oh, Thanos must have farted.
He's just got that wee grin on his face. Something, was that you? Right, anyway, moving on. 97% cheese asked, it's another superpower related one. If you had superpowers, would you use them for good or for evil? And the superpower, it's a specific one, is just to move things slightly away from people's hands, like remotes or phones or cups, etc.
Oh, you ever get that? Well, you've both had bairns, and they've probably had like balls or toys or cars or something, and they've gone like under the couch or under their cot, and you've been like doing on the flail, like trying to reach it. It's just like fingertips, but you can't quite get it.
Yep,
that's an evil thing. You do that for evil, no for good.
You would do it. Do you know when folk are about to eat? Do you know like that? And they just like move their hand, and they'd always really kind of try to catch it with their mouth.
You would do it for evil.
I
think that answer is you would just keep nudging the remote just that wee bit further all the time. So you've got to eventually just get up, and go get it.
See if you can move the remote. Do you have the ability to move the sensor in the TV so that even when you got the remote and you were pointing it, you were jabbing it at the telly, that it still doesn't work?
You'd be able to move just things in general, wouldn't you?
Do you think is it as strong as like telepathy or telekinesis, where you can move stuff, or do you think it's just enough to like get a wee nudge it the way?
It's up to you, John. How powerful would you want it to be? It's a total hypothetical situation, so you can choose.
I think for it to be evil, I think you need to have like proper control rather than just like a wee nudge, because a wee nudge doesn't strike me as evil, but enough wee nudges, enough frequency of wee nudges definitely becomes evil.
See, I would want it to be like sort of subtle enough that they didn't know it had moved. Like put their cup of tea down or
Mhm.
glass of whiskey or whatever it is they've got, and they go back for it without looking, and they've got to do the patting
Aye.
about to find it.
Aye, we've put it, or if they're sitting at the dinner and they go distracted by their phone, and you move the plate so it's either when they turn back around, they go, "The fuck's
Aye.
my plate?"
Or the knife or the fork or
Aye.
whatever. Aye. Yeah. Aye, I would definitely. I think I would be more a pain in the arse with it
I would,
rather than
enjoy,
just moving it.
I would enjoy it at the football. Seeing something like, imagine we concede a penalty to Hearts, and they put the ball down in the spot,
Like
and
Uri Geller it.
aye, they're about to run up to take it. You just move the ball over. So it's like no enough.
You're getting into Uri Geller territory.
Aye, no enough that they miss it altogether, but enough that they fuck their shot up.
If you can move things, you could, depending on the strength of it, you could maybe like start undoing their shoelaces, or maybe even tie them together.
Shortstone. It's just about to strike the ball.
A wee D bag.
Aye,
A wee what bag?
a D bag.
D bag.
Never heard of that. Oh, is that maybe
No.
a 90s term?
What's a D bag?
I feel like D bag somebody.
Oh,
Yeah.
D bag. Aye, sorry, it was Scanton where I was, or I suppose it's D Scanton technically.
Scanning. Right, Neil asks, what's the best scran to throw to start a food fight?
Aye. It's probably just like you wouldn't want to go full in early doors. It'd be like a wee miniature sausage roll or cocktail sausage or something.
A wee spoon of mashed potato.
Nah, it's messy right away though. And you're sort of graduating up to.
If you're going to get a response, aren't you? If you want to start the fight, because if it's a cocktail sausage or something, you wouldn't necessarily throw that back. So you'd be like, "Oh, fuck off." But you'd feel if it was mashed potato or something along those lines that you'd have to retaliate.
The way that Colin was talking about it, I was thinking that what he was suggesting was almost like foreplay. Like you have to start off slowly and build up to the ultimate battle.
Draw them in.
And then he threw in cocktail sausage.
So what are the stages you would go through, Colin? Not in foreplay, the food fight.
Oh, right, okay. Aye, so sausage roll or cocktail sausage. And then you'd maybe, would you go sandwich right away?
With or without crust?
Quiche would come into it as well at some point. I'm thinking sandwich before quiche, because then quiche starts getting messy. But it's not like that messy, but it's a bit more messy than a sandwich. A ham sandwich probably, rather than egg, because egg could be messy as well. And then what would come after the quiche? Then that you said mashed potato. You know, fucking. I'm making a buffet. You're like,
No, I'm saying a
you mentioned mashed potato. I was like, fucking mashed potato. Potato salad and that, like that could be that's when you're getting to the messy stage.
I'd happily throw quiche. Quiche, like I'm a big fan of eggs, but I can't stand quiche. It's a waste of eggs. Can mind anybody making quiche? Like it has no redeeming features.
I don't mind a quiche.
Not for me.
See, when you say it's not got redeeming features, like it's not the prettiest looking food, is it? It's kind of. I reckon it's maybe. I was going to say it's like the mushroom in the pastry world, but it's not quite, because I quite like. I don't mind quiche, but I definitely hate mushrooms, especially like the big portobello fellas.
I think the issue I have with it is they have when you buy them, they have a tendency to put onion in them.
Aye,
that
I hate that.
Fucking ruins it. Like, did they put onion?
So is it the quiche,
really.
Lorraine? It's ham and egg. If it's just ham and egg, absolutely fine. As soon as you stick onion in it, get the fuck.
I don't like it. Aye.
Other than that, I don't know.
I don't know. It's maybe just the ones that I've had onion in, but
see, you'll be making your own quiches, Colin. I get the shop at once.
No.
Cheap, yeah.
I don't know.
Saying that, I've not had a quiche for years.
Right, quiche chat. Right.
I made a haggis quiche once, so it was kind of like a quiche Lorraine's for a recipe.
Haggis didn't even get hungry, John. What are you making any food for? Was it decent?
Aye, it was alright. It was a bit tricky because it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, and I think I had to cook the haggis separately for the pastry base, and then I sort of had to like mix in the haggis with the egg because that obviously needed to set in that. But no, I'd probably get another go.
Let's know how you got on, eh?
Hi.
Okay, when we get together,
295.
when we get together to review last year's Shortbangers live, I'll see if I can make it and bring it round.
Good shout. Did they put onions in it, all right? TT Willis asks, can laser eye surgery cure blepharitis?
I don't know what that is.
Blepharitis.
Blepharitis, I think, is when you get like either like loads of like sleep or dry skin and that in your eyes. I think it just is like that kind of irritation. I think that's what it is.
Let's find out. Blepharitis is when the edges of your eyelids become red and swollen.
Yeah.
Blepharitis. Blepharitis.
Yeah.
Is blepharitis no just for playing with yourself too much?
When then rubbing your eyes.
I would doubt it because I've not had it. So there used to be a joke about that. It's like why and this will not work if you're listening to this on the podcast player. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the joke is why does it take men with glasses longer to wank? It's them pushing their glasses up their nose. Anyway, right. What we're saying, eye surgery, laser eye surgery. I think lasers do everything now, don't they? So you saying no, Colin? I think if it's a good enough laser, aye.
Just laser your eyelids off. You'll be fine.
But the laser is to correct your eyesight. That's because you've got eyes that aren't clean.
Aye, but while you're there, just zap it a bit of it. The outside.
But if it says it, the way to treat it is cleaning your eyelids every day. Surely lasering it once, so you maybe got a week or two, and then your eyes are fucking itchy again.
What if you laser your eyelids daily? Like, surely that's got to be cleaner than most treatments.
Aye, let's go with that.
You've just got Cyclops bent over with his arse blasted into your fucking face.
Pull your cheeks apart, Cyclops. Hit me with a full beam.
Maybe the ice one would be better for that if your eyes are itchy and that.
Alternate.
Oh, complementary treatments, aye.
An icy fart blast. Ian,
that might get you pink eye though, rather than blepharitis, if there was a wee dodgy pump in there.
Might do. I was suggesting that we don't take that approach then to cure blepharitis, John.
Lasers, maybe. Lasers out of bum holes, probably not.
No, probably not the most hygienic way. I think a bumhole laser would come out brown or red. You never see a brown laser like in the films and that. It's never get red and green and that's about it, eh?
That's probably got to do with, was it refraction? Is that how lasers are found? You know, like the wee, was it Dark Side of the Moon album by Pink Floyd? It's got like the wee, is it the prism and it's got the light shooting through?
Yeah.
Aye, so brown doesn't form part of the spectrum. I don't know what sort of spectrum it is, but it's definitely a spectrum.
ZX. It's known as the ZX
Correct.
spectrum. Is how it's what the spectrum was named after. It wasn't called that before the early 80s. That's how.
Before Pink Floyd, it was just ZX. That was all.
That's how rainbows form.
Spectrums.
Yeah, it's like the fact that the moisture in the air, and it's
types in a wee command. Off.
Aye. You used to go to have the Commodore 64s and that out in Menzies, which is where you would go to buy the games when you got your pocket money on a Saturday, right? If they had the computers out, you could type a message. It was like the basic language, and you would put 10 space. It would be like print, and then whatever message you wanted to do, and then your next line would be 20, go to 10, and then you'd go run, and basically you create a wee loop there, and the screen would just fill up with your message. Fucking one of the Hibs for that, and you'd have that if you get a code.
Amazing.
Hi. That's it. Before you had Xbox and things like that, that's where you got your kicks. You go to Menzies and just obviously you would put swearing and stuff on because that's what you do when you're a kid. That's funnier than 91 the Hibs. But anyway, right. ZX Spectrums. Ian T asked, a wise man once said, there is only one winner in the game of love chess. What is the answer? Answers to Richie the drummer. They'll get the reference right. So there's only one winner in the game of love chess. Have you heard of love chess before?
No.
It sounds shite, doesn't it?
Aye.
How does
I
it
don't know
differ
how to play
from regular chess? I wonder. Or is it regular chess but with like different pieces, maybe love hearts or...
So you've got the same chessboard, right? With the exact same pieces, right? But when, say, you start off with the pawn move in. When it goes to take another pawn, instead of just lifting it off the board, you pick the two of them up and you give them a wee shag like that. Just bump them together for a couple of wee minutes like that, and then you take it and then you put another one down, and then that's it. That's your love chess, and it does it until somebody humps the king or the queen, and then they're the winner.
That sounds like a perfect explanation. Thanks, Matthew.
That's it. So,
do you know how to play chess?
Yeah.
By the way, I just googled that. Nothing came up. Google doesn't know the answer what he's talking about. But I don't know how to play chess. Did you ever do? I did media studies at school one year, and one of the things we had to do was film a game of chess. Like you were stopping it and different camera angles and all like that, and then you played it back. Were you in my class for this? No.
It doesn't ring a bell.
And so you played it back. It was about fifth year or something at school. And played it back. One of the boys in the class did the full Lampard to use a top flight time machine. Going, that game of chess isn't correct because the king's not. Was it the king? Is it the king that's got to be on the board to win? The king's not on the board at the during the game, so the game's incomplete. It's incorrect.
Fuck's sake!
What? I don't fucking know. Nobody told me the rules. We just film with different angles and that. Get into the fucking pedantry of the game. Anyway.
Oh, here, I think I might have found it. I just did a wee Google. There's a 15th century Catalan poem, apologies for the pronunciation here, but Scac de Mor, which describes a game of chess played between Venus and Mars.
All right.
There you go.
Was the referee Uranus?
I think tonight it has to be with the amount of things that are shooting at arseholes.
Does it say who won?
I never read any further. I thought I wouldn't spoil it for anyone.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Aye.
Right, also for Ian, he said, if Manchester had not happened, what would have filled the void? It wouldn't.
Yeah, no, definitely enough. What would have been? What was just before? So it was all like. I'm trying to think.
So Manchester was like the arse end of the 80s, wasn't it? The early 90s, before Britpop and that come in.
So was it Acid House and all that before that? Just before that. So would that have prolonged? Would that have stayed longer, do you think? Or would whatever came after Manchester came earlier? Or would it have been something completely different?
Imagine if it was just filled with more, or what was it, Stock Aitken and Waterman, who were the big hit producers back then, wouldn't it? Imagine if they just kind of kept going until fucking Oasis came along in, 94? And
Endless Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan. Who else was there? Sonia. She was the one with the red hair. Red curly hair.
Just anybody really, the 2K. Stock Aitken, Waterman, Sinita and all that.
Pete Waterman, was he done as part of U-Tree? Or was he alright? I know he was on the telly for a bit, but I couldn't remember if he was one of the folk that got.
I've no idea. He probably got questioned, and then they might have got away with it. Like, because there was a few of them. There was a few that got questioned, like Jim Davidson and Cliff Richard, and that never done it. Or were innocent in the eyes of the law. But there was. I don't know if he was one of them. Nah, he's still kicking about, is he not?
I think. How come they just stopped making records? Did they fall out? Because they were like the hit makers, weren't they? I mean, they had no quality control. It was just shite that they churned out. But it was mainly record. Until Simon Cowell kind of took that over, didn't he? When he kind of got the formula for Pop Idol and that, and then just went fuck it.
So you had Spice Girls, you had Oasis, you had Blur, was that the Britpop battle between Oasis and Blur?
Yeah,
and I think there was that wee bit that sort of, like you say, filled a wee gap before things like Fame Academy came along, and then Pop Idol and whatever else followed.
They fell out over money, by the way.
Shock.
That'll be us.
Guinness 2022 say, are Shortbangers panellists ever recognised in the street? And if so, is there any awkwardness? So have you been recognised out and about?
Nah.
Only when I start shooting lasers out my arsehole at folk. Nah, I have been recognised a couple of times. There's a boy that listens, and apologies because I never got his name, but bumped into him a couple of times when we've been out walking the dog. I get stopped in the street all the time.
It has happened, which is weird. It's a weird thing to happen.
Colin has to tell folk it's him. Even though folk recognise his voice. I'm the one on.
They go,
I
cover
did that just once. Aye. Fattest Brickus, met him twice now.
Aye.
That's me recognising him and them recognising me.
I think the weirdest one I had was in the toilets at Hampden. And I was sitting having a piss, and the boy come in, kind of queuing to get in, and he's just sort of beside me, and he says, "Are you back to Longbangers?" I'm like, "Aye, aye." Having a piss though.
Did you go to shake his hand?
No, I did for the reason that it wouldn't have been a nice thing to do. I always think it's quite nice when somebody comes up and says hello to me. But we've said it before. We're lucky that there's no many folk come up and call us like fucking dickheads or.
That boy on the way to Chris on the way to Retro Video Club.
Oh, that happened to all three of us, didn't it? Yeah.
Aye, same thing.
I think that's the only time that we've been out, the three of us in the wild together at the same time.
Aye. So there you go, Guinness 2022. There's your answer. And if you do see us, don't be scared to approach us. We're all right. Stuart says, where are you all off to on your summer holidays? So, Colin, you've kind of already answered this one, but you can say it again if you like, in a different order.
Right, aye. So, flying back for Dublin after a few days in Belfast. No, we're doing 2 days and Monday to Friday, 2 nights in each. And the train down. By the way, see a train from Belfast to Dublin for 4 people. It's less than €50.
Is it?
Isn't it? You think that would be what that would cost over here?
It's nearly €50 to go for Livy to Haymarket.
I know, I bet.
Or to put 2 litres of diesel in your car.
That's about €47-ish from, and it's a 2 hours 15-minute train journey. So the equivalent in Newcastle or something, or a wee bit further actually.
Is that? Do you know if it's a private rail company or if it's state run?
Not any idea, mate. No idea. I was on one website trying to book it. I can't book it for another couple of weeks yet. But I could have booked it if I was in Southern Ireland. And then they went, if you're not in, you need to go onto the British one basically. So I went onto that, and it was only up to the 1st of July, and I'm going the week of the 25th. So that's dead interesting.
I've got some time off in July, but we're not really planning on going anywhere because, well, I've been a student for last year, so I've got no money.
We were meant to be going to France, but we booked it a couple of years ago, and then COVID happened, and we kept postponing it. And then this year, didn't fancy the car to make the trip, and we got to Dunk. So,
it's still in the garage.
The car's not, the dog's not in the garage, not in the car's back out. We've still not got the air conditioning fixed in the fucking thing, and this isn't because we've not been able to. It's horrendous. Windows open all the time. You have to sit with the windows open out in the driveway and everything before you get in the car. It's been into the garage and not been to somewhere yet that kids how to fix it. So it's just
Have you thought about going to a Nissan garage?
Well, I kind of loathe to spend because my work day thing with which I've no long started my job, so I'm like 4 months in. When you hit 6 months, you can lease an electric car. They do like these really good deals on a brand new electric car. So I'm just going to do that when I qualify for it and just patch that one and get a brand new one.
I thought about that earlier. This time last year when I was looking, because my work did the same, but didn't think you got a very good spec for the money with an electric car because they strip it all out. But as well as that, our mate Colin, he's got one. He says it's great, but it's a fucking pain in the ass to get it charged up.
Aye, he's in France, so
No, but when he's over here, it's worse when he's over here. I think it is over there.
Well,
'Cause
we're
it's-
alright. Like locally here, there's loads of charging points in that.
Aye, but they're all different. Some of them take hours and hours and hours. You want the fast charging ones that take
Aye.
like half an hour or an hour to charge the car up. They've got different voltage or.
See, this is maybe, I don't know if this is a dark question or no, but you know how if you go abroad, you need to get like a travel adapter. See if you buy an electric car in France, do you bring it over, like, do you need a travel adapter here? Or is it a universal charger?
We
You get like a two pin one. That you
See,
fit.
I thought you were going to do like the chest shagging motion again.
No, I did it like that. No, because you can plug them into your wall. Like, they take
Aye.
forever to charge like that, I think. But
you can get one outside your house.
aye,
yourself as
I'm just
well.
going to get one of them fitted, and then
The price of the electric and gas now, though, it's like, gosh, you're fucking mint.
cheaper than the diesel, and it'll have better spec than the car that I've got now. That's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. So
Aye.
I just need it to last until then. So I'm not really kind of want to spend any more money on the fucking thing. I hate
Fuck
it.
your holiday takers, yeah.
Aye. So I'm not going anywhere.
You get the money back?
Aye.
Aye, that's
Aye, we're fine for that. That's how it all covered. Right, anyway, we're out of time. If you want to hear some more holiday chat or discussions about
Frustrations with electric motors.
or firing lasers out of your arsehole,
Or what kind of quiche Matthew likes and doesn't like.
we yep, any of that. We can't guarantee that's exactly what we'll be talking about, but we will be answering more questions on Shortbangers Extra, which you can get if you subscribe. £3 a month, longbangers.hubwave.net. We would thoroughly recommend it. We also have an exclusive for subscribers to be recorded yesterday, which was Longbangers Meaning of Life, which has had some great feedback on it, and we would recommend you listen to that as well, which was decent. Idiots doing philosophy, yeah. So we would summarise it. Anyway, thanks for sending in your questions. Do keep them coming. If we don't get to them on our show that you listen to, we will get to them eventually. As you see here, these were a bit older questions, so keep them coming in. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't get